be talking about why Deadpool and Wolverine won't save the MCU. Now, this movie, um, this movie obviously is, widely anticipated. Many people are looking forward to it, myself included. Um, this, and um, despite it being, widely anticipated and all the, in the massive fan base, gearing up for it, it still won't be enough to save the MCU because, well, first of all, this movie, of course, marks Hugh Jackman's return as Wolverine after, um, after him saying originally that Logan was going to be his last time portraying the character. In fact, I remember reading something online saying that originally they were going to end Logan with with Wolverine's claws, popping out of the grave, basically, leaving it open for, like should he ever want, should Hugh Jackman ever want to return, and that was what, from what I understand, that was what director James Mangold originally proposed. But Hugh Jackman, obviously at the time, he turned it down and was like, no, I'm leaving. So this, and, some people, there's obviously a huge debate going around, whether or not his return as Wolverine ruins, the ending of Logan. Me personally, I do not feel that way because Logan is not canon with the other X-Men films. It's an alternate timeline. So the Wolverine in X-Men 1 and 2 is not the same Wolverine that died in Logan. That is an alternate timeline. So, me personally, I don't think it ruins the ending of Logan. If it was canon, if Logan was canon with the other X-Men movies, then I would say yes, it does ruin the ending of Logan. But because it's not, because it's not the same Wolverine, from the first two, X-Men films, me personally, I don't feel that it does. So Logan, in my book, remains untouched. Now, but back to my thoughts of why Deadpool and Wolverine won't save the MCU. Now, literally, the only reason why this movie has a chance at all is because Ryan Reynolds literally fought Kevin Feige in his endless, road of idiocy and stupidity to the nail. Ryan Reynolds, fought like hell to get complete creative control over this movie. He made sure that, that Marvel and Disney, we're going to stay true to the character. We're going to stay true to his roots. And if you watched the, the update that he gave, what was it, last year, the year before? I don't know, something like that. He gave an update, saying, basically apologizing for missing, what was it? The Disney, whatever the hell it's called. I don't remember off the top of my head, but he gave an update saying, we've been working on Deadpool 3 for, a good long while now, and basically saying, what I just said, we need to stay true to the character. We need to, we need to make sure that, basically saying that, we knew going into it, that Deadpool 3, needed to be something special. It needed to be, it needed to, it needed to, um, it needed to top, the first two movies in such a way that people never thought, that people never thought possible. And now, obviously, Ryan Reynolds would not be doing this if he didn't have uh, complete creative control over the movie, because Ryan Reynolds, obviously, he loves this character to death. um he he literally, he fought for 11 years to get the first movie made. So he truly, he truly and dearly loves this character, like, more than anything. um and and when you look at, all the bullshit that, that Kevin Feige, continues to pull and continues to put out, what Marvel needs, if Marvel is ever going to succeed again, they need to address the, they need to, first of all, they need to admit that they're screwing up, number one. Number two is they need to sit down and go, okay, what did we do? What did we do to get here? How did we get here? How did we end up in this mess? And what can we do to fix it? But they're obviously, they're not doing that. They're just continually, they're just, but they're not, they're obviously not doing that. They're just continuing on like nothing. They're just continuing on, like everything is, sunshine and roses. And and that's really what it boils down to, is that nobody wants to admit when they're wrong. And it's not, it's like, it's not rocket science. It's not, it's not, you know it it's not, it's not hard. You admit that you screwed up, you address it, and you move on. And you do everything within your power to fix it. um but another thing that Marvel isn't capable of doing is, not only learning from their mistakes, but also analyzing why. Yeah, look at Spider-Man No Way Home. Like, that was obviously, like, that was a massive hit financially and critically. And Marvel didn't, and if Marvel was smart, they would they would sit down and they would go, okay, why was this movie such a massive success, and what did we do right? Now obviously obviously Spider-Man is owned by Sony, and obviously Marvel partnered with um, Sony to bring, Spider-Man into the MCU. But on Marvel's part, on Marvel's part, they should, they should be thinking about and analyzing why that movie was such a success, and then bringing those ideas over to all of their upcoming projects. And obviously, as widely as anticipated as Deadpool and Wolverine is, and as much as as much of a huge hit as I think it's going to be, um largely because of, because of Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. Kevin Feige doesn't understand he doesn't understand like what make things a success, like, and he's just going to continue, he's just going to continue, pulling stuff out of his ass, and and literally making the same mistakes over and over and over again. Like for example, Feige specifically told Hugh Jackman not to return as Wolverine. And and I think that really goes to show you what an idiot he is. Because, like, he obviously knows, like, how much of a mess they're in right now. He obviously knows how much trouble they're in. And saying Hugh, and telling Hugh Jackman not to return, basically, you know, basically, um, basically, basically saying no to the one thing, that would basically save your movie and make you, basically give you, a little bit of, a borrowed time. It's just, I mean, it should go to show you what an idiot he is. I mean, you're basically, I mean, it's literally like, how you go and apply for a job, and people say, it's like, oh, we're hiring, and then they don't get back to you, and you go apply for the job and they don't get back to you. It's the same thing here. It's the same thing here. And this goes back to what I said before in my in my rise of fall of Marvel, is that, nothing is going to save the sinking Titanic that is the MCU. It's you know it's it's quantity over quality now. It's all they care about now is how much, um it is how much of this crap they can put out a year. And to hell with whether, and to hell with whether, it's good or not, as long as it's out there. And um yeah, I mean, it's not, I mean, as good as I think this movie is going to be, it's not, it's still not going to save Marvel, because they're literally, they're not learning, from their past fuck ups. They just keep, they just keep, they just keep the they just keep continually, shooting themselves in the foot, rather than sitting down and addressing the problem, and actually, like, admitting that there's a problem. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's and yeah, it's yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say at this point. So I guess I'm gonna end it here, and I will talk to you guys later. All right, peace.